What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Prince Cowboy 88, and this is the Cold Cheese and Hot Bullets podcast, here to give you your reaction between the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys game. First off, I'm gonna start with the defense. The defense was non-existent, very disappointing. Dan Quinn didn't have a plan, he didn't have a scheme, he didn't have a dream to even stop this team. Big ups to the Packers for winning this game and showing people how to show up in a playoff game. So I'm going to give Reese Man and his team that credit. They came in young, inexperienced, dumb, wet behind the ears, and snot on their nose. But, you know, once they cleaned off the moist and blew out all the snot and everything, they came out ready to play. I mean, these cats came out their Pampers and they came into their cleats and they came out and they spanked us. They beat us hands down. My man Romeo Dobbs, he ain't my man, but he's, you know, this is my term I use when I'm talking about somebody that balled out. Romeo Dobbs was open like a window. One of their tight ends was getting balls. I'm talking about anybody could catch a ball against this Dallas defense. They had a no-name a receiver by the name of Wick on the Packers. He's not even our main guy, and he got a touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys. And then you look on the running end, which we could never stop the run, none this year, unless it's a lesser team. But when it came down to a big time, big name, mainstream running back like Aaron Jones, that guy is undeniable against us. I mean, Aaron Jones loved to run against the Dallas Cowboys because guess what? The Dallas Cowboys don't believe in drafting a linebacker, which I've been saying for months on end, that we needed a linebacker. And bam, he ran right through us. And this is one of the reasons why I haven't really just made videos about the Cowboys, even though we had a good season this year. It's just like, I'm not gonna sell Cowboy Nation the hype when I feel like something wasn't quite right. Now, a part of me wanted to believe, 25% wanted me to believe that we was gonna do something different, but it was a 75% that was telling me I'm gonna need to stay back, lay back, and see what was going down. And this playoff game showed everything I need to know about the Cowboys. Quite frankly, our defense didn't make it happen. They outscored us 27-0 by the end of the first quarter, or at least by the end of the half or whatnot. I think the first half they got 27-0. I know by the end of the first or the end of the second, it was 27-0. And then they did the rest of their damage the second half of the game. The reason why we got the 32 points because Green Bay just pretty much set main guys down, and they played prevent defense. So prevent defense allowed us to get 32 points, but it was too little too late. Now on the offensive end, I mean, for the most part, Dak Prescott played a decent game. It was garbage time, but he played a decent game. The two interceptions killed us. It destroyed us. But we still had a chance to make up. But the simple fact that they had that zone defense so great, and they played the same zone defense that the Buffalo Bills played against us, that blew us out the game like they did. They had all our main receivers bottled up. I think the only person that we had to throw it to was Ferguson. And Ferguson, to me, was the best player on offense. But on the offensive side, Mike McCarthy, very disappointing in him. He really didn't have an answer to the zone that they had or whatnot. But he didn't play the playbook. I think he had the answer, but he did not play the playbook. We didn't do no sweeps. We didn't do CeeDee Lamb behind the line running as a running back. We didn't do any double sweeps with Turbin. We did one sweep and it worked, and then we stopped doing it. We didn't have no clever run schemes. We didn't do anything clever in this game. In fact, the Dallas Cowboys was so predictable that they was at the spots, you know, right before we got there so they can make the sack. I mean, if you're gonna show up to a playoff game, you got to have more energy and tenacity and know-how than this. I mean, we are a team that has went 12-5 3 times in a row and been to the playoffs 3 times in a row. You would think that this team would know how to conduct itself in a situation in a playoff atmosphere. But obviously, we still haven't learned anything from the last 2 times we was in the playoffs. And we got beat worse this time than the last 2 times. So at the end of the day, man, if you was to ask me what's next for the Cowboys, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm totally lost about what's next about this team. I couldn't tell you or whatnot. I mean, somebody got to get fired. I don't know who. Dak Prescott don't deserve the extension. That's out the window. Whatnot. VIP, MVP, that's out the window. You know what I mean? Which that's been out the window ever since the Buffalo game. But all this stuff right here, the MVPs and all the rest of that, it don't even matter. I mean, we shouldn't even worry about that. We should worry about what we gonna do when we get to the postseason. Because obviously, this team is more than good enough to make it to the playoffs. We ain't got no problem with making it to the playoffs. It's just what we gonna do when we need to make the playoffs, when we get there. The biggest thing I see when Dallas makes the playoffs is, and I'm not gonna even get into the numbers of the game. Everybody knows Dak Prescott threw over 200 yards. I think Pollard probably got about 70 or 80 yards rushing. CeeDee Lamb didn't really get that much in receptions. You know what I mean? I'm not going to really get into the numbers. It don't matter. We got blown out the water. So it really don't matter. Everything's garbage time when you don't win. It would have been great. I'll get into the numbers when we win. But it's so, our season's over with now. So it really don't matter. But the problem is, once we get to the playoffs, we should have that mentality like, we need to start up early and often when it comes down to making things happen in games, in the beginning of the game. None of our plays made any sense. Then one play leading to the next play didn't make sense. Usually, one play complements the next play, complements the next play, complements the next play until you get a touchdown. But that wasn't the situation. It's just, hey, we're going to pass it here. We're going to run it here. We're going to run again, lose some yards. Then we're going to pass downfield, hoping that somebody have a miracle catch downfield to keep us going. And this is what it is. The penalties wasn't really all that bad. I mean, we got a few penalties in some crucial times. But for the most part, the referees called a good game. I can't even blame this on the refs. This was Dallas taking an L. We failed. But we got to have a mentality when we come in these playoffs that if we lose this game, we're not coming back next Sunday to play another game. It's over with. We got to have that act now, play now, score now. Everybody was calling me, asking me how you feel about the Cowboys. Oh, how you feel about the Cowboys. I'm like, listen, man, I'm 40 years old. Listen, at my rightful age, the only thing I am is a fan. I can't want it more than the Cowboys. I'm not able to play this game. I'm not a player. I'm just a fan. I said, I want them to make the Super Bowl, but if they don't want it, I can't want it more than them. I said, if $1 million paycheck don't encourage you to go out there and want to play, I don't know what to tell you. If the word play off literally means if you lose, you going to have to start your season all over again next year. Don't encourage you to want to come in there and bust your behind. I don't know what to tell y'all. It is what it is. Only thing I can do is be a fan. I've been a fan ever since I was 3 years old. Ain't gonna change no matter how horrible, how good, how great, or how disappointing they are in the playoffs. I'm still gonna be a Cowboy fan. And they ain't gonna change. It ain't gonna change no matter what. I'm gonna talk my spit until they get put out. But we gotta have a sense of urgency or whatnot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care if Dan Quinn come back next year. I really don't care if Mike McCarthy come back. But my only thing is, if we get rid of Dan or Mike, we need to have somebody with some skins on the wall to replace him. Now, Bill Belichick is available. Jim Harbaugh is available. My man that used to coach the Seattle Seahawks is available. I can't think of his name right now. But like I said, if we gonna get rid of Mike McCarthy, we need to get us another guy in here, like a Bill Belichick. And I'm calling out Bill because I wouldn't mind having Bill Belichick as my coach. I mean, I think the perfect scenario, like my man Boss Cowboy said, and check him out because he speaks a lot of facts. My perfect scenario would be, hey, we get Bill Belichick as head coach and we get Mike McCarthy as offense coordinator, then that'd be great. I'll be excited. I'll be really ecstatic if that happened, but that's a dream that would never happen because Mike McCarthy, he's not going to demote himself to office coordinator. He's been a head coach for too long, but boy, if I could get that, then hey man, I'm ready for next season. If I could just get them to a loan, if I can get that dream, that would drop down from having Bill Belichick as my head coach, because Bill Belichick is a defensive guy, and he's gonna cut out all this Hollywood cowboy stuff, all this extracurricular activities outside the field. Michael Parsons having this podcast, that would have to go. He would have to focus 100% on football. And if Bill Belichick tell him to play linebacker and not edge guy, he would have to stick with it. Because Belichick wouldn't mind cutting him or sitting him on the bench. Because at the end of the day, we need a linebacker. We need big guys up front. And I hope this draft season, this offseason, that we address having big guys up front. We need linebackers. We need linebackers on defense to stop the run. We've been so busy getting these safeties and these big small safeties and all these other guys that corners, playing the linebacker position, when you can see when it comes down to real deal running backs and real deal offensive line and know how to make a push, we get knocked over like bowling pins out there. And that's what happened when Aaron Jones came out there running angrily. He was knocking us over like bowling pins, but they also had a good enough offensive line to knock us over because we had small guys. We got undersized guys playing big boy positions. We need to get guys that's playing big, that's supposed to play big boy football, that's in them positions. We had a chance to get Duncan Sue. Oh no, we good with our guys. We're gonna stick with our guys. Well, you see what happened. It got us out the playoffs. If you get a chance to get Dominican Sue, even though he's long in the tooth, but he still knows how to work the position. He still know how to stop the run. You know what I mean? We had a chance to get a couple more guys out there. There was so many guys that we passed up on. We got rid of Mike Evans for what? Okay, you got caught with some weed. Hell, Michael Irvin got caught with cocaine. Come on now. You could have let that slide. We needed a linebacker. Keep him in post, and he was a downhill hitter. Like I said, we need all the help that we could get. We need to stop drafting tight ends. We don't need no more tight ends. We need a running back, and we need linebackers. And we need a left guard, a left tackle on the offensive line to replace Tyron Smith. Because he's old and long in the tooth. He don't need to come back next year. I do not want to see Tyron Smith come back on this team. Retire him. Take that butt to the back and put a bullet in him and put a new person in. Or put Tyler Smith at left tackle until you replace Tyron Smith. We need major moves for major situations. And the main thing we need to do coming to this draft this offseason is getting linebackers that can stop the run. That's what we need. We need big linebackers with great footing and great hips so they can move around, and we need to stop the run. That should be the main focus in this, our running back and stopping the run, and somebody to replace the left tackle position or whatnot, because that's the main problem I got. And until we do, Michael Parsons need to play linebacker until we get them pieces. I know he want to be edge guy because they make more money, but hey, if they run it up the middle, having your punk ass at the edge would not save this team or would not help us in any type of way. Green Bay came in here ready to play all day, every day. Big ups to Jordan Love. Big ups to Jordan Love. He was slicing and dicing us because we played this sorry behind prevent defense that Jordan Love he just pieced it apart because it was spots everywhere. Jordan Love, it was nonstop spots everywhere. He didn't even have to scramble. All he had to do was just stand in one spot long enough, and bam, there go something. There go Romeo Dobbs open. There go a cat named Wicks. I forget their tight end name, Musgraves or Musgroves. That he's open. I mean, it was so many people open. It's crazy. I'm talking about we was a great man-to-man, secondary defense. I was hoping, okay, maybe they'll be able to run, but I said, hopefully we can stop the pass. At least we could guard against the pass. You know what I mean? So with that said, man, we got work to do. We got major work to do. I mean, I thought that we was trying to, get something going, losing Kellen Moore and his lame duck, calling in playoffs. But I see that Mike McCarthy is just as lame duck as Kellen Moore. So at the end of the day, we gotta learn how to let loose, on that playbook and just throw the playbook at these teams, because we got the plays. It's just they don't call them, and that's another thing I gotta give Green Bay credit. Green Bay threw the offensive playbook at our behind. I mean, they was doing motion left and right. They was doing jet sweeps. They was doing half motions and a receiver cut up field. They was doing so many different strategies. They was doing digs and verticals. They was doing everything you could think of. They was doing it, sweeps, and I mean, it was like a symphony out there. I mean, LaFleur and Love, they was making sweet music on our behind. And I'm like, we still couldn't make the adjustment. We couldn't stop nothing. Couldn't stop nothing. Not a darn thing, man. We couldn't stop a runny nose. We couldn't stop a cold. We couldn't stop a train, a plane, a rabbit. We couldn't stop a cockroach. We just out there getting our behinds ran through. Number 2 seed get beat by a number 7 seed by coming in there ill prepared. I don't know if they were looking past this game into another game, but I'm like, man, they should know Jordan Love is dangerous enough to do some damage if you do not come prepared. And you never go to a team that's unprepared, that's playing with house money, because first off, Green Bay wasn't supposed to be in the playoffs. Keep that in mind. It was not supposed to be in the playoffs. So you never play with a team that has nothing to lose. They came in with house money. So they gonna chuck them chips to see where they lay at. Because first off, they wasn't supposed to be there, but boy, now they in there. They foot strong in there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they beat who they playing next. They playing the 49ers. I mean, man, they beat the 49ers. Who knows? You might see them in the Super Bowl. You might see them in the Super Bowl. They actually got the team that could shock the world against the 49ers. I mean, they actually got a young team that could do it. And if Aaron Jones keep running like that, angry like that, who knows? He might be the running back that could break the back, or at least, wear down the defense of the 49ers. If they come up straight up, if they don't play any scared football, because most of these teams that beat the 49ers this year didn't play scared football. They just took them straight up. All right, the best way to beat a bully is to beat a bully. So at the end of the day, man, I'm not even mad. It is what it is, man. Dallas ain't got nothing but themselves to blame. Like I said, I ain't the player. I'm a fan. And so I didn't lose this game. They lost this game. It's just, I just feel bad for the fans that went to the game and they spent all this money because, playoff ticket money is not cheap. And a Dallas Cowboy ticket is not cheap in the regular season. But in the playoffs, you're paying big time money. And I feel sorry for the fans that sit right behind the Dallas Cowboy bench. close enough where, you know, they can literally talk to these players. They'll spend 10 stacks on a ticket just to see a team not do anything. Showed up and showed they behind and literally turned their behinds in their face and said, your money didn't mean nothing to us, because these people spend big time money. They flew in, paid top dollar for a hotel room near the stadium, and then come to the game and watch y'all drop it and let the season go down the tubes because you didn't come prepared, because Dan Quinn didn't have a plan to stop the run, and the simple fact that Coach McCarthy didn't have a plan to score points. Receivers couldn't get no separation at all. None whatsoever. No separation whatsoever. They couldn't catch a ball. They couldn't get separation. The only person that was really balling was Ferguson. We could bet our better dollar on Ferguson. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb getting into it right before the play in the huddle. I mean, listen, if you ain't got your chemistry right by now, then, hey, I'm sorry, we gonna lose. And that's exactly what happened, man. We didn't show up. We didn't show up. We didn't show out. And I don't know what it is about the playoffs, but, you know, when the game ain't on the line and we got another Sunday to play where we win or lose, we play great football. But when pressure comes, man, we non-existent. We forget how to play football. Mike McCarthy forget how to play to be creative on his play calling. Everything just goes black with the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. And I'm tired of it, man. I'm sick and tired of it. We got the talent. We got the players. I thought we had the coaching, but darn. I mean, if you gon' blank out, do it in the season, but in the playoffs, you supposed to know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and how to win games. You're supposed to know how to put it all together and make it happen. And Dallas, we just can't seem to put it all together. So whatever happens with the Cowboys. At the end of the day, I'm not speculating. I think somebody need to be fired. I don't know who. I don't think Dak need to get an extension. He don't need to get an extension. I'm at the point now that, hey, if they could get a good trainer to go in there and train, Trey Lance up on the offense so they could be prepared, get him prepared to take that spot, I'm cool with that. When his contract is up, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Unless I see something different or whatnot. And I'm not going to blame this loss on that, because they covered the receivers very well that he really didn't have no place to go. But they still gave him enough room to run and be somewhat of a turbulence disturbance if he could scramble up a few yards to get some plays. Because, hey, if you ain't got nobody to throw it to, this offense was made where you can find a hole real quick, run, get you a few yards, slide down, let's start all over again. But Dak didn't really make too many attempts to scramble as they could. Now, and even though they did get a guy to kind of keep him in place, he still could have shook him off real quick and got a few yards. You know what I mean? I just got through watching the Philadelphia Eagles and Tampa Bay game, and that's one thing I give Mayfield. Mayfield if he ain't got no place to throw it to, Mayfield gonna run, and Mayfield actually got some pretty good speed on him. Baker Mayfield got some pretty good speed on him. I mean, Dak could do the same thing. But at the end of the day, damn, this is almost a 24-minute video. At the end of the day, man, I am done. Hey, this is all I'm gonna say. People, tune in again to another another reaction, and another video on the Cold Cheese and Hot Bullets podcast. This is your boy, Cowboy 88. We're gonna make more videos talking about this. We're gonna have a show to react on both ends so you can hear his end of the other spectrum. I'm sure he already got a video talking about the reactions and the victory on his end. I'm sure he's much more happier than I am. But I mean, this is my take. This is how I feel. No, I'm not wearing no Cowboy stuff. They don't deserve me representing them right now. I'm still a fan, and that's all I'm gonna represent them through me declaring my fandom of the Dallas Cowboys or whatnot. But at the end of the day, man, that's all I gotta say, man. To the next video, I holla.